The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Cowboys Nation included. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison and Jazz Monet. How y'all doing, ladies?
Lottie-dottie.
It's almost Sunday, almost Monday.
Lottie-dottie.
If Wednesday
That's
is
4 days.
almost Sunday, then Thursday is almost Monday.
There we go. And you know what it is Monday, right? What you looking at? What?
I was rounding up. I was like, how did you...
No, that's Overshown's quote from earlier this season.
He did say that.
Like week 3 or 4 or something. He was like, Wednesday, it's almost Sunday. So
that muffin.
I've just been living that way all season, and it's helped.
He can't
It's
wait to
helped.
get back
Shout
on
out
the
to
field.
DeMarvion Overshown.
Shout out to DeMarvion Overshown.
The wisdom.
I'm crying. Well, all right, Monday, the Cowboys take on the Bengals. That's about 4 days from now, right? 5 days from now.
Friday,
Regardless,
Saturday,
it's
Sunday,
getting
Monday.
closer.
4 days.
It's getting closer. But first, we've got to go through our little updated practice report. It was just sent out to us. Of course, you have Tyler Guyton, CeeDee Lamb, with a shoulder injury, did not participate. Zack Martin, of course, now out for the season. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Wanya Thomas, we already know he will be out for 2 to 3 weeks as well with a knee injury. Nick Vigil did not participate. Guys who were limited, Brandon Cooks, Trayvon Diggs, Malik Hooker, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Lewis, and DeMarvion Overshown with hamstring. Guys, of course, full participant, Deron Bland. We love to see Deron Bland back in the fold. Jake Ferguson, full participant as well. Love to see this as well. Marshawn Nealon, Osa Digizua, full. Cooper Rush,
Yes,
full.
Marshawn
Tyler
Nealon.
Smith, full.
Those are some good names on that full list.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And even the guys that didn't practice today, again, because the game's on Monday, we have to keep in mind that this is basically like a Mick
So
Wednesday.
Today's Thursday. So today's technically a Wednesday.
Yeah. It's a Mick Wednesday. So we
Yeah.
have to keep that in because when
true.
I seen it, I was like, Lord, it's getting closer to the day. And I was like, oh, you have an extra day. We'll have really tomorrow a gauge of like who gonna go, who ain't gonna go.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
But we do know who is not going to be playing for the rest of the season. That is Zack Martin. Mike McCarthy announcing in the press conference earlier today that he will have to go undergo surgery for his ankle. And here's a quote from him is, he's going to be missed. We're not going to replace Zack Martin by any means. He brings so much to the team and the team culture. We all recognize what kind of player he's been here in Dallas, but the type of person he is, people gravitate to him. His leadership, he'll definitely be missed in that area. I had to add the little pause because you got to emphasize that part of the sentence. But when you talk about Zack Martin, what are the Cowboys going to be losing from this offensive line and from this team as a whole?
I would say a lot of leadership and example. I know in terms of numbers, things looked rough this season. There were a lot of games that had people scratching their heads as to what was going on with him all season. So I think for a lot of people, one, there's a sense of relief these past few weeks. I don't know if relief is the right word, but it's reconciling a lot of the confusion, knowing that he's been struggling with such significant injuries to the point where now he has to have season-ending surgery, right? But I think about going into the beginning of the season when people were questioning how Cooper Beebe would do as a center, and there were so many people who cited the fact, well, he's got Zack Martin next to him, so he should be fine. And as long as he can rely on that guidance, he should be fine. And so to me, that's just one of the examples of just what Zack Martin means in terms of leadership, in terms of experience, in terms of being a guide for a lot of the young guys who are on the O-line now. Even with the guys who have stepped up in his absence, you can kind of tell, and you can kind of hear in some of the stories that they tell that, you know, a lot of their work ethic, a lot of what they bring to the table, very different style, especially in the case of Hoffman. But you can tell they're inspired by Zack Martin. So hopefully that inspiration continues to, you know, linger. But it sounds like he's going to be gone for the rest of the season, unfortunately.
I know you're sad.
Listen, there's there's the saying that like you won't find a unit as strong as an offensive line. There's a bond that those guys share, and and if we're being honest about Zack Martin, I do not know how long his ankle has been bothering him.
Right.
But I distinctly remember, like last year, there were times where he was struggling with that ankle. I feel like this is something that he has toughed through past this year. I feel like last year I saw a regression in some of his play in the latter part of the year, and he was slower to get up and things like that. And people were talking about, him getting older and stuff, but he has been such a mammoth along this offensive line. And when I say that, I mean in like not just a physical sense. I mean like his presence, his spirit. And not only is he an example on the field, like one of my favorite things, y'all, is when the top 100 come out. And because it is one of the few times you get to hear, there's podcasts now, but you get to hear what other players think about your guys. Yeah. And I think that's valuable. I think it does give you some insight. And the level of respect that players spewed out for Zack Martin, and we're talking about some of the best defensive linemen in the league, like, this was my hardest matchup. This was my welcome to the NFL moment. And to have one of those guys on your team, again, we know that he is sure a Hall of Famer, but this is a disheartening thing. I know he hates to go, for things to be this way, to finish this season this way, but I guess it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of how things go.
Yeah, you talk about Jazz touching on the leadership qualities that Zack Martin has. And unfortunately, we didn't know the news until today, but I talked to Brock Hoffman yesterday and just asked him, like, of course, no one wants to receive opportunities because of a player getting injured, their teammate getting injured. But Zack Martin's... This is Zack Martin. Like, he don't care about you filling in his place. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's kind of irreplaceable, too.
Irreplaceable. I mean, but he also instills confidence in those guys, and that's something that Brock Hoffman has said that he's really, truly done for him during his time here for a couple of years, because you think about a guy like Brock who had to come in and battle for time behind Tyler Biadasz. And then now the Cowboys drafted Cooper Beebe, and then he's having a battle in training camp for the starting center role. And then now he came in having a fight behind Zack Martin for more opportunities, but now he's getting the opportunity now. But he said that one thing that Zack did, a message to him from Zack going into the Giants game when he got the start, was just a beep, beep, chippy. Can't use the exact words. But, I mean, he was just like, use your chippiness. Like, this is something that you bring to the table that everyone loves. Like, use it. So Brock did say a lot of good things about Zack, but you also have to think about the way that he's helped groom these running backs, too. Like, you look about the success that Ezekiel Elliott had with, in his early careers, Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle now. Like, this is something that you cannot brush off to the side. Zack Martin's truly made an impact, and I know we're probably talking about this like he's retiring. He ain't retiring yet. Hopefully, we're gonna pray about that. But no, hopefully we're not seeing the last of Zack Martin. But surely a lot of these guys have to step up. Where is the confidence level in Brock Hoffman moving forward?
I think the confidence level is pretty high. As a matter of fact, when you said the word chippy, my first thought is like, chippy just does not feel like a big enough word for him.
It's not. I know, it's like, it's really not.
Chippy.
Yeah.
It's too nice. My bad. I don't even know if feisty's the word. It's really just like,
he's
not going to use the words on this lovely camera here. But it's all right. It's fine.
No, but he brings something different to the table, and what I love is that people love it. For a couple of weeks now, the question that's been lingering in my head has been like, how do the coaches feel about what he brings to the table? Because like when you watch broadcasts and even some other podcasts, they talk about how, oh, he's being a little rough. He's continuing contact too long. They basically trying to make it sound like he's not always doing things legally, which he doesn't get called. And yes, the refs do see it. They can go back and address certain things sometimes. So yes, what he's doing is legal. But like even times where I've seen him just like throw a dude on the ground, one-handed, just like get on the ground. He is such a force to be reckoned with. So I really like what he's bringing to the game, and I love that he's getting a lot of support. People aren't trying to like dampen his aggression or get him to reel it back in. They definitely support it. Mike McCarthy has been asked about it, and the people who I have had the opportunity to talk about it with do seem like, even with the suggestion that he's like, some people think he's being extra or whatever, they love what he's bringing to the offensive line. Yeah. So props to him.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Brock, we talk about him playing with this kind of chip on his shoulder and everything. That also has to do with the position that he's playing right now, like at center. He can kind of get away with being 6'4", 302, 305, but he's a guard, and so he is a bit undersized to guard standards. That extra flair he plays with, I think that edge is something that kind of helps balance things out. The fact that he's undersized, like people always talk about, you a little small, you gotta look. Trust me, I know. Yeah. But in regard to his play, you asked Nicole how much confidence I have in him. I have confidence in seeing his technique and his ability. We're going to continue. This is such a pivotal time because, again, if you find out that you have a guard that can go up against starting level players that can play, that puts you in position going into the draft, not feeling like this is a surefire need. Also, too, I mean, you look at T.J. Bass and then you talk about Austin Richards. You could go into the draft feeling a little bit more comfortable and, again, not having to feel like you have to address something for need. That's number one. Number two, in regard to his technique, I'm looking at his hands. I'm looking at how he sits into his hips. He has a good base. His knees aren't too bent. You see him getting and climbing to the second level, being able to disengage blockers and get to the next level. Also, the communication from him is good as well because he has center background at this point. So he understands the checks and stuff like that. So he probably is in a position also to help Cooper Beebe because he's been here. And so to me, I'm like, I love his flair. I'm going to be really paying attention to how he continues, because people are, again, you talk about it all the time with Tyler Guyton, is that people see his tendencies and they repeat them. Brock Hoffman getting these starts and allowing him time to play. Jesse Holley mentioned this is going to give teams more information. How does he counter that? How does he build off of that? Because if he can pair the chippiness with the technique consistently that he's playing with, then you might really have a player, and that's then we're having a whole nother conversation.
Something funny about Brock Hoffman is about his chippiness, feistiness, whatever word we want to use for this to describe it. I asked him, I was like, is this something that just helps fuel you, or do you just enjoy getting in people's heads? He was like,
he from North Carolina,
kind of
girl.
Both.
Yeah,
both, and it works.
He from North Carolina. He real funky with it. If you talk to him, he's nuts. This is how he is. He's not. It's not a gimmick. It's not a game. He really is like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and just looking at what he has done in 205 pass blocking snaps over the last 2 years, Hoffman's allowed no sacks and just 13 pressures. So it kind of goes back to now you go into the draft or this offseason and you don't necessarily need a guard. But switching gears over to Chuma Edoga. Where does that leave the confidence for you guys and Chuma?
I am not mad at what we've seen from Chuma so far.
Yeah.
I do want to see more. Are we expecting him to be the left tackle position on Monday?
Yeah, because Tyler Guyton did not participate today. Okay. So we don't know yet. I'm sure we'll find out. Saturdays are typically always the days that we find out who will be playing or not.
Well, whoever's over there is going to deal with the challenge, and I think that'll give us a lot more information to actually have confidence. So right now, it's low, but not because of anything that he's done. It's just because I haven't seen enough to be like, oh yeah, I'm confident. Yeah. I still need to see more. But what we have seen so far in the snaps that he has had to take in Tyler Guyton's absence, I think he did a very solid job. The O-line in general, considering how much in and out of the O-line that there's been, I think in the past when we've seen that sort of replacement of players on the O-line, it hasn't gone so well. And I would say the latter part of this season is gone better than a lot of people expected. So he's solid, and I wouldn't be mad if he did end up playing, but I would reserve quantifying my confidence until after watching Monday night's game.
Real fast, because Christy actually brought this question up. Was that Tuesday or Wednesday? Days are running together. Anyways.
It must have been Tuesday because yesterday was Wednesday.
So then, Tuesday. There we go. And she had asked Aisha and I think Jess, doesn't matter. And she just asked, well, would you guys be comfortable in possibly seeing Tyler Smith move out to left tackle, or would you rather have Chuma Edoga in at left guard, or would you like Chuma Edoga to stay at left tackle and keep Tyler Smith at left guard?
Oh, that is a good question.
Which would you prefer?
So if Tyler Smith went to left tackle, who would be the guard?
Chuma. They moved Chuma inside.
No. I would say leave Chuma as the tackle right now, because he did a good job last time he was in there, and I really like Tyler Smith at guard. So I would say, just unless something goes terribly wrong, just do that. That's fine.
There's no wrong answers. We all said, I don't know. I think you said the same thing.
Oh yeah, I said that. Just keep Chuma out there, because Tyler Smith is playing good football. Just let him
And do you agree, like, technique-wise, he still kind of moves like a guard even when he is a tackle, right?
Who?
Like
Chuma?
Tyler Smith.
Not necessarily.
In some aspects.
Yeah, it's a little different. I do think that Chuma has had. I just think him being on an island with some of the foot stuff that he's had and he's dealt with, you put him in guard. I felt like in preseason we saw a little bit better of production, specifically in the run game from him. But yeah, I'm my confidence level.
Confidence level. My bad. Yeah.
He's gonna. When you talk about the Bengals defensive line and things and stuff, Sheldon Rankins against Tyler Smith is an interesting matchup, but then also too Trey Hendrickson. I really am curious as to where they're going to line up Trey Hendrickson. If they decide, Chuma being a veteran and things, it may be one of those things where like they maybe don't just go at him. I think if maybe Tyler Guyton goes, then they might go switch sides and have him go there. But if not, then I think Chuma will be okay. You also too, if you are getting Jake Ferguson back, Schoonmaker has improved in blocking. Brevin Spanford have shown they've improved in blocking. Yeah. I'm okay with being able to. Y'all, 2 tight ends is better than 1. Surprise. 3 would be a party. You understand me? Because you can have him out there to help chip and do those things or whatever the case may be and help, but also still have a receiving threat on the back end and not just 1.
Yeah, and I mean, Scoon's been doing better than in that area, but like when it comes to the Cowboys tight ends who are the best receiving threats, I mean, I think we want Jake Ferguson out there in that role, So
we're gonna see.
Could be fun.
Could be fun. All right, up next, we're gonna have a little bit more fun. We're gonna talk about Cooper Rush and his improvement and how this offense can improve and why they need to improve moving on until Monday. All right, we're gonna be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The most electrifying event of the holiday season is here. Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant, is back at the Star in Frisco. Join us every Friday and Saturday night from November 22nd through December 21st for a spectacular holiday show with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders Rhythm and Blue, Rowdy, Santa Claus, and surprise tree lighting appearances from your favorite Cowboys heroes. Best of all, the show is free. For details, visit thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on the holiday magic.
I love how we always emphasize the word free. That's crazy. That's
It's
real
important.
crazy work.
That's the important. That's the most important part. Shoot.
Gotta make sure they hear it, because they will be like, how much does it cost?
I'm dead. The most important part about this offense, though, y'all want to know something?
Oh, what is
Is the fact that Cooper Rush has improved.
Yes.
That deserved
Yes.
a ding, Jazz. It's okay.
Jazz?
All right. This will be the 5th game for him as a starter, the most he's ever had in a season. Won the last 2, of course. They're riding a 2-game win streak as a starter. What have y'all seen from Cooper Rush as far as just his improvement?
It's obvious that he's getting more comfortable. When he first started, there was basically 2 camps. There was the people who expected him to do what he did a couple of years ago when Dak Prescott got hurt and he, brought the team through that great run, all the wins. And then there was the other camp who was like, well, he doesn't have the same O-line or the same defense that existed at that time, so we're expecting him to struggle. And he did have some struggles, and there are still some things that he could improve, but you're hearing both anecdotally and seeing on the field that he is getting more comfortable, that he seems to have a better connection with his targets. On Monday, Schottenheimer talked about Brandon Cooks coming back. And he talked about a conversation that Brandon Cooks had with Cooper Rush, where in so many words, he said that Brandon Cooks and Cooper Rush were trying to work out their connection on a certain play. And Brandon Cooks was discussing with him some of the nuances of the route and how it would work, and basically just little things to look for and how they would make it work. And according to Shotty, it did work out in the ways that they talked about, that they described. And so I think just having more conversations like that, because sometimes when a player is put into the rotation, fans may not have a good idea of what it takes for them to get comfortable and for them to actually contribute to the offense. So knowing that each week conversations like that can happen, that can improve things, or the O-line gets a little bit more in sync and that helps him out. Because even with the O-line issues, like a lot of people are talking about, oh, Cooper Rush, he releases the ball so quickly because he's scared. Or at least that was the case at first. It's not like he was releasing the ball quickly and like chucking it downfield. He was running for his life. He was ready to get rid of it. So I mean, that's where some of those quick releases came from. The fact that
pressure,
the pressure, And so now we're seeing more quick releases that seem to be a little bit more planned, a little bit more controlled. And so I think as he gets more comfortable, as he has a lot of these productive conversations with his targets and with other members of the offense, I think we could possibly keep seeing the offense as a whole, as well as Cooper Rush, improve.
Yeah, I agree with you. He also has improved because you're running the ball better.
Yes.
Have mercy, Jesus.
Quarterbacks do better when there's a solid run game.
Let me tell you something, like, football's not that complicated, y'all. It really is not. Like, the ability to run the ball in any capacity is just easier on a quarterback. And, Rico Dowdle having more snaps, having more success, has opened up the play action game, and it also too it just takes pressure off of Cooper Rush. When you're trying to stay ahead of the chains, they had some issues last week, kind of getting behind the chains at times, but they still stuck to the run. They stayed honest about it, and then you start to see in that late third, early fourth quarter that some of those bigger runs are starting to, to break now. Cincinnati is not about to give up a whole bunch of explosive runs. That's not their MO. However, you can run the ball on them. They are just as bad as the Cowboys as far as success rate when it comes to stopping the run. And so, to me, I think Cooper Rush can continue the success that we've seen him have, because, again, you're not asking him that first game. What game was that he threw 50-something times? I was about to throw up.
I don't know, but that was crazy.
Never would I ever.
Yeah.
A backup quarterback at no point I need to be throwing that much, unless you.
No quarterback really needs to be throwing that much.
Facts.
Was it Atlanta?
I think maybe it was Atlanta.
No, it was Houston.
And I would hate and this is a game where Dallas is going to have to stay true to it. They're going to have to just stay, because, again, Cincinnati can put pressure on you with their ability to score. This team averages almost 7 yards a freaking play. So they're going to put pressure on you. You have to be able to play ball control, work the run, allow Cooper Rush to stay comfortable, stay ahead of the chains. And I think that you can move the ball on this defense. Also, too, they play a lot of single high. They just, I don't know who they think they are.
They've started playing more too high a little bit, like the past couple weeks.
Sort of, kind of. Whatever. they're and
no, but I get what you're saying.
To me, and with their inability to rush the passer, I mean, they are literally bottom of the league in sacks, one of the bottom of the league in sacks. Like, listen,
and not doing good as far as tackles either.
Facts. So it's like, what do you think you are right now? Single high? I would send number 9 out there.
Yes.
To the house, buddy. Like, just catch somebody on a bad angle. Do something. They had some injuries in the safety room. I just think there should be opportunities there because I do believe that this offensive line will be able to block it up pretty good. Please, for the love of muffins, I am begging the Cowboys offensive line, do not allow a team that has 21 sacks on the year to play you and all of a sudden have sacks. I beg of thee. I can't remember what team it was early in the season that didn't have that many sacks. And we was like, oh, they going to be all right. Well, came out there, had like 5 sacks that game. I said, don't embarrass us. You sound fed up. Don't embarrass us. I'm asking, and again, the pockets have been cleaner. The pockets have been cleaner as of late. So y'all, we were just talking about that, and that's part of why he's succeeding. Do not let this team that does not.
I don't think that's something that they have to worry about, because one of the things that we didn't talk about with Brock Hoffman is his pride. That's something we can say about the entire line.
It's got to have the whole line though, not just Brock's pride though.
I did just say entire line, maybe not entire, but we don't have to get into who doesn't have that. But I do think there's enough pride on the O-line for them to not let that happen.
I pray.
And the single high thing, like, you know what they say, single high, let it fly. But I do think that's a thing.
Fact.
Cooper Rush should write that on his little. But I do think regardless of what they try, whether they decide to, mitigate that a little bit by doing the too high thing that they've been doing, a lot of their struggles are similar despite what they've done as far as adjustments. So they're still having issues with tackling. Now, as far as missed tackles, our running backs have not really done that great in terms of forcing missed tackles. That's something where our receiving game does have much more strength. But when it comes to the run game, I think one of the things that has helped is you're seeing more blocking at the second level now. And that's helped Rico Dowdle out a lot. So I think if they can continue that, and Rico Dowdle having another 100-yard game, which I don't think is a lot to ask. And I think
it's not, especially in no game like.
Yeah.
You can do that in this game.
You can have, and that's the thing though, but you have to score points. You can run the football. You can pass the football efficiently. You got to score points. You look back at all these dang games, 1 touchdown against the Giants, 2 touchdowns against Washington, 1 touchdown against Houston, none against Philly. 1 against Atlanta.
But that ain't gonna fly. Because how many times have we seen the Cowboys offense make this long drive down the field?
No, absolutely.
And then either turn the ball over or get a field goal.
I want them to get as close to the goal line as possible. I beg of you. Make it as easy as possible for yourself. Please.
But don't try to do nothing.
Get to the 2-yard line. I beg of you. Just run the ball down there. Which I will say, I do think that this unit right now, especially specifically the interior, BB, Hoffman, and Tyler Smith,
yes,
they give you a push right now that you were not, with respect, you were not seeing as a unit. Like something when you're seeing them come off the ball, it's together. Like they're stepping together. I do think they can get pushed at the goal line. I'm
100%.
hoping.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What more do you want to see from Terence Steele? I feel like we talked about this a little bit last week, but what more do you need to see from Terence Steele?
Speed. I don't need to see anything else. I understand him as a player. I know what he's capable of. I know what he struggles with. If it's a super speedy, bendy guy, he oversets. His hips, his feet get a little too wide, and people are running past him. That's something that he is just going to have to continue to work. We understand that his pass setting is something that he is still working at. And I think it's easy to forget that this was an undrafted player. He has built himself up to this point. He still has that nasty in the run game. You mentioned getting to the second level, girl. They're doing that with the combo and duo blocks as well. You know, him and Hoffman and BB has some fantastic blocks at the second level, to your point, last week. So keep finding ways to get him involved in the run game. That's where he builds his confidence. When you run the ball, you also wear pass rushers out. Help your offensive lineman out as well. So I think that's why we're starting to see him look more of himself. I just think as a pass protector, he's going to continue to have to work it. I don't see anything different than what I expect from him at this point, and that's okay to me.
Nothing to add there. Agreed. Because it's like, is there anything else I need to see? No.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been wanting to see the same things from him all season and things that he's still working on. And so he's either going to improve in those areas or he's not. But nothing else to add to that.
No, it's just when this is, sometimes a player is who they are.
Yeah.
And you take the good with the bad, and you take the not so good and whatever. You figure out ways to run. Every team does not have a freaking star offensive lineman at every spot.
That's real.
That's a good point.
And teams figure out ways to help them or to do things that are conducive to what they do. Again, continue to find this run game. It's going to help your offensive linemen, because those speed rushers in the third, fourth quarter, they've been getting beat up. They tired.
Yeah.
They've been having to tackle or run at them. I almost cussed. Do something. He's fine. Just roll with him. Ain't nobody got time for
Jake
another.
Ferguson's is back, I wouldn't be mad at seeing him have a little bit of help.
And here's another thing about Terence Steele. I mean, he get a lot of crap. Guess who been healthy all season? Guess what offensive line? Him and Cooper Beebe. Terence Steele,
Even last year.
This is his second season of just consistently being there. And availability is a useful trait in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says. So it's
100%.
like, I'm going to give him, I'm gonna talk about him when I need to talk about him. But at this point, we got bigger fish to fry than right tackle.
Talk about bigger fish to fry. Who is the biggest threat defensively, of course, aside from Trey Hendrickson?
Dang.
Aside from Trey Hendrickson, who is another threat on this Bengals defense, if there is any at all?
That was obviously going to be my choice. I got to go back and look at the list now.
Well, Logan Wilson, their linebacker, he's kind of the heart and soul of what they like to do at the second level. It sounds like he is out for this game. That's a huge loss, because if I had to name anybody, I would say him, just because he is that quarterback. Sometimes they use him in blitzing situations. He's steady in coverage. Not quite the athlete, but very, very smart up here. You can see him processing and breaking things down. I feel for them losing him. However, I would say Cam Taylor-Britt there. He plays on the left side. He's a cornerback. He's not giving up much out there. 2 ints on the year. So for me, he's going to be that people target him a lot, and he kind of holds up for the most part. So to me, that he would be a guy that maybe you just don't. I mean, 2 interceptions ain't a whole bunch, but still, he's clearly playing well enough to deflect balls when he needs to, and he's good in coverage. I was watching him yesterday, and he got a little feistiness to him. This Bengals defense, secondary, they're gonna press. They're gonna try to get in your face. It's a lot of what's the word? I can't say that word.
Facade?
It is. I think they know, like, we can't stop the run, so we just gonna be super chippy out here in the secondary. So they do.
So they're trying to overcompensate?
Okay.
I was gonna say that word, but I was like, I ain't trying to be mean or nothing. But like,
I mean, facts is facts.
They do. They're super. They're a little McFeisty out there, just trying to stir up some trouble, because they understand what's going on with their front seven.
All right, Jazz, you can go Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, what you got, Mama?
Go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say that when it comes to what he brings to the defense, the reason why their defense does have a modicum of hope is because of him. You know, and especially with 11 sacks, I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to add to that. Yeah, I think after him on their team, the second person has what, like 3-2? It was something low like that, like less than 4 or 5. So he's definitely making a big difference. And I know, you know, as much as we've talked about how good the O-line is doing, someone like him is probably looking at the fact that there have been players in and out, up and down the line, and just saying like, okay, I can take advantage of this. And I also was thinking about Logan, but it's been hard for me to like look past his shortcomings as an athlete. Like, when it comes to who's on their defense, he brings a lot to the table. But in terms of runners being able to do a lot against them, and in terms of especially tight ends being able to do a lot against them, a lot of that has had to do with ways in which he's fallen short. And just the fact that, both him and Pratt, it seems like they have issues when it comes to just the directional game. They're not going sideline to sideline very well. It's like if you can fake them out into going one way and go the other way, they don't really seem to catch up or recover from that. So it's like, yeah, you want to like call out people like Logan for helping, but at the same time, it's kind of like he's also one of the weaknesses. But no, I found this stat on the Bengals defense that was interesting because it doesn't seem to follow the narrative about them or even like what I think we've seen. But it says the Cincinnati Bengals are holding opponents to just 3.8 yards per carry on designed rushes between the tackles, the second fewest in the league. So that's interesting. They're hitting opposing rushers behind the line of scrimmage on 49.3% of such carries, leading to allowing 0.5 yards before contact per carry. And it looks like Cowboys running backs have only gained 0.9 yards before contact per carry on design rushes between the tackles. So as far as our runners go, it could be a more interesting matchup than we think, but I still think their propensity to miss tackles and just not really have good balance in terms of figuring out how to stop the run and watch the pass at the same time, I think the Cowboys are still going to use that to their advantage.
Yeah, and Trey Hendrickson, this defense goes as he goes. Kind of like for Cowboys, a Micah and Demo. Like, this defense goes as honestly as Micah goes. And you look at the amount of pressure that they're able to get on opposing quarterbacks with Trey Hendrickson on the field. It's about 34%. With him off the field, it's about 22%. So huge difference there. But we are going to take our second break, and we're going to have some fun later in the third segment. Have a little game for y'all. All right, we'll be right back with more Girls Talk Boys Talk after the break.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Capture a frame-worthy family holiday photo with Santa at the Star, presented by Monument Realty. Santa will be spreading holiday cheer at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District from November 22nd through December 24th. For more information and to book your visit, head to thestardistrict.com/Santa.
All right, go ahead. Let me ask y'all this question. Who would y'all consider a star player outside of CeeDee Lamb offensively as of this point of the season? Or would y'all consider
a star?
Else a star?
I think we've got a couple of budding stars. Like Rico Dowdle is definitely reaching that status. Yeah. Kevontae Turpin has done some things that got him some attention.
I would say Ferg has star power this year, and that's why I said what I said yesterday when I said I hate this season. Because I felt like Ferg was just trending. He's just trending up. And I'm sure he's going to get back in the groove of things and probably finish this season strong. But when you talk about his development as a tight end and starting to see him, like, the yak ability, the swag he got, the attitude he played with, that's a star. Like, and that's why guys like Travis Kelce were, speaking about him, talking about him, because they see some of his star power. So to me, I still believe that Jake Ferguson has the ability to be a star. I hope that he can be that same player coming back from some of the injuries that he has had.
Who else? Oh, did you already say?
Yeah, I said Rico and Kevontae Turpin because they've had a lot of attention recently. If they stay on that current trajectory, I could see them being considered star players. But I really like what Aisha said about Jake Ferguson. I think I wasn't thinking of him because he's been out, but when it comes to both his play and the kind of attention that he demands, just in general, when people think of the Cowboys, he is one of the people that a lot of fans think of. So.
And the defense gets hyped too. Like, you remember when he was like, when he's making those plays, the defense is hyped too. Like, that they see, like, oh, this guy's something different.
Who else do you think? She said who she feels has the potential to be a star. Who do you feel outside of Jake could potentially be a star? As like a rising star that has that edge offensively.
On the offense? Cooper Beebe.
That's a good one.
He's not going. He real hush about it. You know what I'm saying? But again, Cooper Beebe was a projection pick. This guy was a guard, fantastic at guard.
Yeah.
They moved him to center. Y'all remember what them snaps look like at training camp?
Yep.
He has built himself up, taking coaching, taking mentorship, and you see his play. Like, some of the things he was doing, pulling last week, y'all, like the technique it takes to be able to wall people off, to climb, like the footwork, you are seeing that he is really starting to understand the center position. And I do think he is going to be one of the better centers in the NFL, like, if he continues on this trajectory.
All right, we're going to have a little fun now. I don't know if it's really fun, but we're going to hope it's fun. All right, it's called higher or lower. So I'm going to give you guys a stat, and I just want to see if y'all know if it's going to be higher or lower.
One of those.
Straight like that. All right. Bengals allowed higher or lower than 500 yards of offense versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Higher.
It was higher because they was in the 40s, huh?
It's 520.
They had to put up 40 to beat these folks. It's crazy.
44 points. Insane. All right. Joe Burrow has a higher or lower. Oh, my goodness. I cannot type. What was I doing? Joe Burrow has higher or lower than 3,000 passing yards in 2024 so far.
Higher.
Yeah, it's higher because he been having to chunk that rock. They can't run the ball, sister.
That's a good point. 3,337 passing yards. Insane. All right. The playoff percentage for the Cowboys, is it higher or lower than 5% as of right now?
As of right now, it's lower. Or last time I checked, it was lower.
Yeah, lower. It ain't nothing. It's like 3, ain't it?
It's for 4%.
Gone up to 4.
Okay, 4.
Right? All right. What about the Bengals? Is it higher or lower than 4%?
It's probably they probably low too.
No, I think theirs is lower because they have a worse record than the Cowboys do.
I bet.
I know they're not mathematically eliminated yet. It's not 0.
It's 2%. If they win, the chance goes up to 4%.
Goodbye. What you mean?
All right. The Bengals, I'm sorry. It's not funny. The Bengals
laugh.
have given up higher or lower than 32 points in the last 6 of their losses.
Given up? How many points have they given up?
Given up.
I know
More.
they last 4. Yeah, I know they last 4 they've given up. So, yeah, it's probably
34.
Bye.
All right. The Bengals are holding opponents to higher or lower than 4 yards per carry on designed rushes between the tackles.
Oh, I just said this one. It's
Dang
lower.
it, you did just say that. Yeah, it's 3.8. All right. The Cowboys have higher or lower than 8 fumbles this season.
Like they forced them? Or
No, like
fumbled?
they fumbled the ball. Cowboys have
Cowboys
fumbled.
Higher because Cooper just be dropping that thing.
Stop.
Higher. It's higher.
I'm gonna say higher.
Because Rico's had one.
Haven't there been a couple on special teams as well, though? There have been.
Cooper had a zillion.
I could be wrong, but I think it's higher.
Y'all are both right.
Did you say
10.
Cooper had a zillion?
Sometimes it no. Well, and again, I know this is partially. I just talked about Cooper Beebe. He still is getting better at his snaps.
Yeah.
And it is an adjustment to go from snapping the ball to Dak to snapping it to Cooper Rush. It's different. So I do think that, but they don't at least once a game. That ball just come to him and it just fall out of his hands. I'm like, Cooper, grip.
A literal grip.
A literal one. I beg of you.
The Cowboys have had 10 fumbles this season. Hopefully, they ain't got no more the rest of the season.
I ain't got no more.
I think that playoff stat is a fun way to build this game because it's like whoever loses, their playoff hopes are literally over. Like I know they're both like on life support right now.
Can you imagine how Cincinnati feels with the way their offense is built and how they can play, and that their defense is just talk about being unbalanced?
Can you imagine the tension in the locker room?
Oh, and I was also looking at like some of the guys they drafted, and like there are some actual good draft picks. Like I was sitting there like, oh, you guys took McKinley Jackson. Oh, he's supposed to be a good team. What? He's getting blown off the ball. Then you look at Miles Murphy. I told people during the draft, don't do it.
But that goes to what Jess was saying yesterday is they don't draft and develop. They're not taking their time developing these guys.
Jesus.
So that says a lot about the Cowboys organization, how such a great job they do with
That's all we got. Shoot.
these guys. All right, that's a wrap for the show. For Aisha Morrison and Jazz One Day, I'm Nicole Hutchinson. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!